Alright, everyone, we are back on sports. Yeah, we're back on sports. Man, it's been about 2 weeks. I think I'm going to do it from now on, every 2 weeks. So you only get one video a week. Opens up, a lot of things for me to do in real life, so that really helps. But as you know, you're still going to get your content, just not every week. Unless something important happens. Something important happens, then I have to step in and say something. Y'all know how that go. But, before I get started, I want to give a shout out to the Philadelphia Phillies. That's right, because they went in there in opening day, against Cincinnati, against the Reds, and they won. Oh, they won. Yeah. So as far as I'm concerned, congratulations to the Phillies, because like I said, at this point, the Phillies, I don't want to say they're like the Sixers, but the Phillies do need some type of support. You know what I mean? And at this point, we've all been waiting for baseball to come back anyway. So I can't wait, to actually go to a game, sit and relax, and actually watch the games, you know what I mean, with no problems. Of course, this team is completely different than, the teams that we've had over the years. We don't really have any, big bombers out there who's going to hit, hard home runs. But hey, they're going to be playing small ball this year. That's what we're going to be doing. And you know what? I don't have a problem with that they're playing small ball as long as it's consistent. And they can keep getting guys on base and keep driving in runs. That's all I'm really worried about. I know in the offseason we've seen a number of pitchers get picked up and stuff like that. I really don't want to get into that too much due to the fact that I have some strong opinions about a specific pitcher that was picked up and everyone was praising him. And it's like, nah, dude, if you saw this dude's ERA when he was picked up, in the previous couple years, not too great. But he's here. I'm going to give him a fair chance, at least. Fair chance. And we're going to move on. That's right. So, I want to talk about what's been going on over these previous 2 weeks. As you can see, got to talk about the running. So, 2 weeks ago, I did the WhoLock race, all right, 10K. It was for children whose parents, the proceeds went to children whose parents who had cancer, you know what I mean, or still has cancer. So I'll show you the medal. As you can see, the WhoLock run was very well done. Very windy out there in the waterfront near Penn's Landing. It was a very fun race though. Great time. I didn't have no problems with this. It was a great medal. As you can see, just to let you know, just to show you, there are two different medals. As you see, two different straps, two different medals that interlock. So yeah, really cool stuff with it. Once again, I'll show you it real quick again. The WhoLock run. Very fun run. Didn't have any problems whatsoever. No difficulties whatsoever as well. It was fine. No problem. You know what I mean? That was actually pretty good. Now, the other race that we need to talk about happened over the weekend, which is the Hot Chocolate. That's right. Hot Chocolate 15K. So, for those, I'll show you real quick. As you can see, it is a chocolate bar, half-bitten, apparently. That's what the medal looks like. And the medal, actually, if you hit the button here, it comes out. Hear that? Hear that? It comes out, this piece comes out like a magnet that you can put on your refrigerator and then has writing inside of it as well. There's nothing on the back, but yeah. Hot Chocolate 15K. I want to talk about this real quick. It was about 32 degrees out there in the morning. It's near the Art Museum, near Eakins Oval, and which most races where they're actually at. If it's not there, then it's usually down in near Penn's Landing and stuff like that, depending on where you run. And it was very windy down there. Very cold, very windy. Now, the high that day was supposed to be like 54 degrees, all right? But when you're out there that early in the morning, it's not 54 degrees, all right? So, you got to bring your hats. You got to bring your good, your good outfit. And here's the thing. As opposed to last year's 15K run when they were giving you the actual track jackets, this year they gave you performance hoodies. And let me tell you something about those performance hoodies. At first, I touched it, I was like, oh, I don't know if this is going to be quality or not. Once I put it on, and I felt, I actually, got a feel for it, that son of a bitch was quality. That was a quality hoodie. I will say that around the backs, maybe I'll show it some other time because, like I said, it's, I'm watching it. I don't want to put something dirty on and show y'all. You know what I mean? So, what is it? The backs had some open mesh in the back so you can, so you can breathe. And yes, that's good. That's fine and good and dandy when you're running. You know what I mean? But when you stop, all right? When you stop and that wind's cutting in you, yeah, cold. All right? So just because you got to think you're sweating under it. You know what I mean? So 15K. The course was very easy. This was almost the same course as the Rock and Roll Marathon. Half marathon that I did not too long ago. But the 5K, remember, I did the 5K first before I did the half marathon, and was it a couple minutes after that? Remember, I had to wait like a half hour or so, something like that I had reported. Same course, ran down, Went down. There was no hills or anything. It was a slight hill here. Not really hardcore hills. Just a slight down slope. You ran down. They brought you back around. You came back up. And then there's the monster hill again that you go up to get to the art museum. Right? Now, here's the thing. There were so many people out there who were clearly new. Right? And this race, once again, for me, was not hard. Not hard at all. Okay? So, not a big deal. I was testing my run for the Philadelphia Marathon because, for those who don't know, I signed up on Monday for the Philadelphia Marathon. That's right, I'm going the whole 26 plus. So I will be doing that in November. So training from here on out to November, I should be fine. As long as there's no injuries or ailments or anything, I should be fine. But during that run, there were so many people who were hurt. What was it? I saw people being taken off by stretcher, in motor cart, stretcher. One lady, when she crossed the finish line, she crashed and burned at the finish line because she was running so hard to get past the finish line, and then she started hyperventilating. And all of a sudden, all these people came over and crowded her. And I'm like, that's the wrong thing you want to do. When someone's hyperventilating like that, they need air. You don't get all in their face. Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? You don't do that. Let those people, those volunteers and that security and those EMTs, let them do their job. Because you got a bunch of runners over her. Mind you, we're at the finish line. So there's no excuse, like if you say you're like mile 6 and you fall out and there's no help. You know what I mean? That's different. You're at the finish line where everyone is there. So you can't crowd the person doing that when they're hyperventilating. They need to breathe. You cannot, if anything, you're making it worse for them by crowding around her. And no, you can't do that. So that was a very scary scene, just to let you know. A number of people I noticed when they crossed the finish line crying. Tears of joy. I saw so many people. I guess they feel as though they couldn't do it. It was their first race. They couldn't do it. And tears of joy. So many. Like, when I was sitting there just watching the finish line, just so many, like, elderly people, middle-aged people, even some kids came through crying. I guess, like I said, you can tell that they had a lot of personal hardships, or maybe this is just something that people felt. Once again, I know how it feels. People say you can't do something, and then you prove you can go and do it. You know what I mean? And then, it feels like that weight is lifted off you. So they just started crying. I mean, it wasn't just like I'm almost going to cry. No, it was like full-on bawling, tears. I was like, wow. Like, that was very interesting to see. Best part about it, I have to say, I saw a couple 8-year-olds who ran the whole race, and they ran the race with no problem. And I'm like, they're 8 years old, and they're just blowing through everybody. It must be nice to still be 8 years old and run like that and have no, not have to worry about any type of problems, you know what I mean? So yeah, 8 years old running 15Ks going through with no problem. The 15K started a little bit late due to the fact that we had to let the 5Kers, I showed you on Twitter, we had to let the 5Kers go first. You know what I mean? And then they had to wait until, a specific time, then they can start the 15K. So everyone had to get in their corrals, which I will say in the beginning of those corrals, everybody was pushing. Everybody wanted to be up front. Even if you were in the last corral, I saw people trying to move all the way up front because they want to get their run started faster. So people were just very anxious to get out there and run. It was not a hard course whatsoever, at all. It was a very easy course. Like I said, I've run the course so many times, so I'm adjusted to it. But it was mostly flat. Not Broad Street run flat, but mostly flat. And it was a great time. I have to say something about the stations here, all right? Because you know how you stop and get your water stations. They actually had a station just for marshmallows. Yeah, because it was the hot chocolate run. So they would give you marshmallows at one station. And things, I took the marshmallows and I was like, pretty good. And you know what? I think that's a good idea because I felt an automatic sugar burst as soon as they gave me those marshmallows. And I took off again. You know what I mean? So it was really interesting. But yeah, at the end you got your banana, your mug, your banana, your hot chocolate, and that was a big thing because it was so cold out there at the time. The cups of hot chocolate they were giving you, it really helped. It helped a lot after the run. So your hot chocolate, your marshmallows that you can dip in chocolate. They gave you, like I said, this was really good. And I put it like this: the expo that I went to go get my bag. For those who have been in these type of expos, usually you expect to be there for like a half hour, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, because it's so big, there's so many people there, you got to wait in line to get your bag and stuff, and you got to make sure you have all your stuff so that your ID and stuff. This was interesting. I walked in, and because I got there at about 11 o'clock in the morning, and went there, and I think I did the entire expo in like 5 minutes. Like, I literally got there, got my bag with no problem. They didn't even ask for ID. That was interesting. They didn't even ask for ID. And I talked about that with them. I was like, usually, they make you, ask for ID and stuff. They was like, no. They was like, and they said that. They was like, other races make you do it. They was like, no, we trust you. I was like, well, that's very nice, but I just hope that someone doesn't abuse that. You know what I mean? But no, very good stuff. The expo wasn't that small. They were handing out, when you first walked in the expo, they were giving you candy bars. There was a girl actually with a bowl asking if you wanted candy. And then as you went in, people were pouring hot fudge with marshmallows right in the beginning. So if you wanted to have something to eat, they had a number of chocolate stuff and things that you can eat if you wanted to, just at the expo. So it was all free, of course, because you're there to pick up your bag and to make sure that your shirts and stuff fit. And if not, you have to go do exchange and stuff like that. So in order to, I guess, alleviate some of that stress, they just decided to feed you a bunch of candy and a bunch of chocolate and a bunch of all kinds of sweets. So I thought the hot chocolate run was really well done. Would I do it again? Yes. It was very easy. The 15K was you can't let it fool you that it's a 15K. It's like 9+ miles. That's all it is. It's not much, all right? And y'all have to understand for me, because a lot of you like to talk about, especially on Twitter, how, I like to run, these marathons and all. Y'all have to understand, I am not a runner. I don't have a build of a runner's body. You have to understand that. I have a build of a fighter's body, or even, depending on, if I have to go up in weight or whatever, it could look like a bodybuilder's body. I don't have a runner's body where, for those who don't know, if you want to run with the elites, those elites, they have to weigh about 120 pounds. Like, you ever see them Kenyans running? They're like 120 pounds, 110 pounds. They're so thin, because I don't think people realize when you run, you're burning muscle. You're getting rid of muscle that's not needed. So you're trading in your bulk for very lean muscle. That's what you're doing. And personally, like I said, for what I do, I can't afford to do that. You know what I mean? So I don't consider myself that much of a runner, as I consider myself an all-around athlete that will do whatever. You know what I mean? Like, and I had this talk with some friends because they're going to do the marathon, but they're like, but they don't want to stop weightlifting because, you should stop weightlifting when you run. And I told them, I was like, I'm not going to stop weightlifting. I'm trying to go up in weight. If I need to put weight on my legs, and I always tell you guys, you should never work out your legs due to the fact that the run itself is the workout for your legs. But in this case, I feel as though, because for those who've been watching these, and I've been having some problems as of late with some legs, when I'm running, I feel as though that I need to switch up the regimen. I need to try and work out my legs and maybe, put some cushion behind these wheels, and see where that goes. Because I realized even in mile 6, I got a little calf cramp. I'm like, what the hell? You ever notice I get a lot of calf cramps when I'm doing these runs? And they usually stretch really well. So I don't know what the problem is, you know what I mean? It could be a hamstring. Remember, IT band I had problems with at one point. So I think I just need to strengthen my legs more if I'm going to go do this marathon. You know what I mean? This full marathon. This will be my first full marathon. And you know what? I'm looking forward to it, and I'm going to kick its ass. I'm just looking forward to it. I'm excited for it. But let's move on, shall we? Let's talk about the Philadelphia Flyers. Yeah, let's talk about Philadelphia Flyers. That's right. Because as we know, Philadelphia Flyers, they're not going to make playoffs, dude. They're not going to make playoffs. They're not going to make playoffs. But it is fun to watch them play right now because they're just going out there and trying to play. Not too long ago, one of our goalkeepers, or goalies, had a scary situation where he just passed out on the ice. And it was very scary. And from what we heard, the doctor said that they didn't find anything wrong. So there has to be something to it. There has to be. Now, we all knew that he had some type of chest cold or whatever. But unlike Mason, our other goalie, who had the flu, and anyone who's got the flu and trying to play, yeah, good luck with that. But he just, I guess something happened, and he fell out. Maybe he was lightheaded. Maybe, you never know. Maybe he wasn't getting enough oxygen. We don't know what happened. And they sure as hell still haven't told us. Hextall said he would tell us the next day what was going on, and we still didn't really find out much. But that's how the Flyers are they not? They will sit and tell you, oh, well, someone's hurt, they got an injury. Okay, well, it's a lower body injury. Oh, it's an upper body injury. They won't actually tell you in detail what the injury is. They just won't. You know what I mean? So it's really interesting to see what's happened as of late. Of course, the Flyers lost to the Rangers, and, so. But, yeah, I'm sure New York is like, yeah, we got you. It doesn't matter. The Flyers should have been playing better throughout this entire regular season to make the playoffs. It shouldn't be a mad scramble. Like I told you just before, 7 seasons now. 7. It has been like this. Either making a mad scramble at the end to try to get into the playoffs, or not making the playoffs at all. For 7 seasons. Three coaches we've had now. Something's got to give. Something has to. But I will say what I did find funny is when we played against the Penguins, and we absolutely destroyed the Penguins, what was going on with the fan base actually in the stadium. Look, I find this hilarious because you know what? They're right. They should have a sign on the back of their jersey that says, I have failed as a parent because my child is a Penguins fan. Now look, as you can see the Flyers, they put this on their Instagram. We need to have this talk, okay? Because I need to know how you fans feel. Now you know Flyers Penguins are heated rivalries, just like Phillies Mets, Eagles Dallas, or even Eagles Giants, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. And some will even go as far as say Philadelphia Union and New York Red Bulls. Some will go that far. Okay? So, Flyers Penguins is a heated rivalry, just like Flyers Rangers and sometimes Flyers Capitals. Whatever the case may be, sometimes Flyers Buffalo. Sometimes, yeah, or Flyers Canadians. I know. The rivalries go so far. I know. But the heated one, the most heated one, is Flyers Penguins, right? Okay, we can all agree with that. As a fan, I'm thinking to myself, there's two sides to this. You're absolutely right for putting that sign on your back. And there's another side of me as a fan that says you didn't go far enough. If anything, you should lose your stripes on this one. You should lose your Flyers colors for this one. If you're letting your kid, as you can see, the kid's very small, okay? So it's not like this is a teenager that made up their mind, okay? And just decided, okay, I can make my own mind up. No, you're grooming your kid to be a specific fan, all right? And they turn on you. You're not just a failure as a parent. I hate to say parent, because like I said, we're just having jokes here, you know what I mean? As a parent, but as a hardcore Flyers fan, you should lose that privilege. You should lose it. I'm just saying. Oh, my God. But, you know what? Maybe next year the Flyers, yeah, it's always maybe next year. Next year. Yeah, we suck again. I know. Yeah, Flyers, they got to get together. They have to. You know what I mean? And Hextall, like I said, our coach he's just not good. The fact that you're just now calling up Morin when he should have been up a long time ago, that's absolutely ridiculous. The fact that you're putting McDonald out there on the first line, what? Okay, I've seen enough of him. I really have. So, and then you just award him like a huge contract or something like that? Yeah, I don't know what's going on here, but the Flyers are in need of some serious restructure. And I know we got these new guys, these young guys, but our captain, I'm not seeing any fire. Not like Giroux. He can, as we know, he can score. He's the real deal. But I'm not seeing any fire from him. I'm not seeing any. And I think somebody needs to sit Giroux down and you say, you know what? You see what you did here against Crosby and the Penguins when we first opened up and you punched him in the mouth, you knocked out, you punched him in the mouth? That's how our captain needs to be. I don't see the fire. I don't. And then you got Simmons, who has a lot of fire. You know what I mean? And then you have Voracek, Jake, who tries his hardest, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. You got Couturier, who I'm still not a fan of that much. I know everyone likes to hail him for his defense, but when you see the way he shoots these pucks, they're on odd angles and weird angles. It's almost like he just hopes they go in, or he's just at the right place at the right time at times. And still not a fan of him. But if you look at I don't want to say the new guys because they're too new, but if you look at your so-called vets, your vets have to get the job done. They have to lead by example. And it seems like the only person I've seen who's been doing that as of late is Simmons. I don't understand this. Captain's got to step up and do something. Because you know what? After seeing some of these interviews in these previous couple of games, and to see how relaxed he is, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Mike Richards. That's what it reminds me of. Remember when Mike Richards was like, oh, it's not that big of a deal that we lose and blah, blah, blah. And then Pronger was like, the fuck you mean it's not that big of a deal? No, I'm pulling rank at this point. You know what I mean? Like, and people got upset about that because there was no fire. It seems like Giroux is falling into that. And I'm hoping that he doesn't because he's too talented of a player to fall into that. That's just me, though. Shall we move on? Let's talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. That's right. Now, as we know, Philadelphia Eagles have made some moves, okay? You know, especially we just got that, that big acquisition from Baltimore. I know everyone's all happy. I know everyone's getting ready for the draft. For those who don't know, they've shut down, the Art Museum, and tourists that want to go to the Rocky statue are now being pushed away because the NFL is getting ready to build their little, their little thing there for the NFL draft so that all the fans can be out there. And it's going to be fucking stupid as far as I'm concerned because you're going to have it outside. You're going to have all these idiots out there. It's going to be just like the concert that's like Made in America and all that stuff here. That's all it's going to be. That's all it's going to be. I will put it like this. If you need an alternative on where to go and you're seeing that draft and you don't want to be around thousands and thousands and thousands of idiots, go to Xfinity Live. I would say go to Xfinity Live. or go to any type of Philly sports bar. Seriously, go to a hardcore sports bar in the city. You'll get the same. I'm sure you'll get the same. Was it Fox and Hound? That's up here. I mean, you will get the same experience. I feel. Of course, you can't boo Roger Goodell from. You gotta think if you're not there early because you know people are gonna be camping out. If you're not gonna, you can't boo Roger Goodell from 4 blocks away. You can't do that. So you might as well go to a bar and see it on TV and boo his ass there. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. Philly fans are going to take over. As far as I'm concerned, I do not care about any visiting fans coming in to support their teams. No, you keep your ass out of it. It's Philly. I understand that you say, well, every fan's team goes to other places, but this is Philly. This is a completely different aspect. I'm telling you now. As chill as Eagles fans are here, because they don't freak out and they don't, we've talked about this time and time again. When it comes draft day, every extreme Eagles fan will be out there. And I'm telling you now, people are going to be drunk. People are going to be violent. You should know this is going to happen. Police will be on hand. I'm just saying. This is how hardcore football fan base is here. Just letting you know that. Until other teams start winning. Because remember, 2008, 2009, 2010, a couple years, this was a Phillies town. Because Phillies were winning. Everybody was wearing red. Everybody wanted to be on it. All right? Everyone was on the wagon. That's why Jimmy Rollins came out and said what he said. Then in 2010, the Flyers with the Stanley Cup, everybody was there with the, you have to understand. Things are a little different here in Philadelphia. All right? And for those who don't know what I'm talking about. When you win, attitudes and people that are so frustrated, they're kind of chill. They actually have something to cheer. They're actually really happy. But when teams are getting dogged, like the Sixers, people are like, and they're just angry all the time. But when teams win, they're actually really polite. People are really polite. They're really nice, to be honest. So for those that say sports doesn't do anything for the cities, they do. But like I've said before, you cannot rely on professional sports to make yourself happy. You got to go out and do something on your own to make yourself happy. Accomplish something yourself. So listen, it's okay to cheer for your teams, but don't rely on them to be the end-all, be-all of your happiness. Don't do that. That would be a huge mistake. Okay? Now, like I said about the Eagles, I want to talk about this because the media has come up with some really, really stupid questions. And for those who know what I'm talking about, let's look at these so-called professional writers as they talk about Carson Wentz. Really? Really? You're really asking the Eagles fan base, do they want to win a Super Bowl? Is that... Of course we want to win a fucking Super Bowl. Of course. We're just trying to make our quarterback look like a star. Our quarterback needs weapons because, newsflash, if you didn't see what happened last season, yeah, didn't have anything. Drops after drops after fucking drops. I'm not trying to hear, oh, they're just trying to make themselves, trying to make their quarterback a star, but they're not trying to win. What? That doesn't even go hand in hand. Come on. If you're getting weapons for your quarterback, that means if he succeeds, then you know what? That means that the team will possibly succeed on the offensive end. And you see him doing moves on the defensive end, right? So why would you ask such a stupid question? Media. It makes no sense. But these people get paid to say stuff like this. You've got to be kidding me. The Eagles are still going to make moves. The draft is not even here yet. And you're wondering, I don't think they're really trying to win the Super Bowl. Are they trying to win the Super Bowl? Or do they just want to make their guy look like a star? That's just, seriously. I don't understand that. But there's more wrong with the media. Because I'm trying to figure out what these media outlets, what's wrong with them. I'm trying to figure it out. Because Fox, I'm trying to figure out, if you're trying to be a hardcore media outlet, or you have your shows that are trying to be media outlets, then why on Twitter do you have your tweets locked? Why? Now look, I've tried to watch Fox Sports Live before. It's usually after when UFC has their events, you know what I mean? They go onto the post-game show and then they go to Fox Sports Live. And these two guys are horrible. They're horrible. Like, I end up turning the channel because they try to be cool like ESPN. They try to be hip. They try to do the same thing, but they're 10 times worse at it. All right? But for you to attract more followers, or you're not just confident in what's being tweeted, why would you protect that? You have a show, and then you want to, okay, whatever. I've never seen, a media outlet so scared that maybe they'll say something wrong or somebody will retweet something or I don't know. But how do you be scared of social media? I don't get this. But let's move on, shall we? Because the media has also reported, for those who don't know, two things to report. First, that Tony Romo is going to retire. All right? Now, you know what? Given what Tony Romo has went through, and we've talked about this for seasons, and how I said the Dallas Cowboys have no regard for Tony Romo's health because of the way, just shoot him up, we'll get him back out there. You know what I mean? And you know what? They would have done the same thing this year, I feel, if Dak didn't play the way he did. Tony Romo retiring to go into broadcasting is a good idea. This guy is so broken up, as far as I'm concerned, that he should go into broadcasting. You know what I mean? Why put yourself through that, possibly more injuries? Now, you look at this guy's career, and you can say, okay, this guy could play. All right, he could. Yes, he had the gunslinger's mentality. Yes, he had that Favre mentality. Yes, he throws interceptions. Yes, he's a butterfingers when it comes to crunch time situations because, we're not going to forget that, you know what I mean, that playoff thing. But the fact is, you have to understand that Tony Romo, and as an Eagles fan, all right, while we wanted to go after Tony Romo and shut him down, y'all tend to forget that Tony Romo used to carve us the fuck up. Need I remind you, in the playoffs, all right, when we had McNabb out there, right, and Tony Romo, and you had Deshaun, who Deshaun didn't do a damn thing that game because he doesn't show up in playoff games, as we know. But remember what the defense said about Tony Romo. Remember, Tony Romo knew the plays before they were doing anything. He would call the audible and know exactly what gaps they were going to hit and come at Tony Romo. Remember, Eagles defense said this. The lineman said this. The linebacker said this. He had them figured out before anything. You got to give him credit for knowing his shit. Now, of course, performance could be a completely different thing, all right? We can sit all day and talk about, his percentage, and his catch, his interception ratio and stuff like that. Listen, we can sit and talk about that. But overall, body of work, Tony Romo was a competent quarterback. He was. Like I said last season that passed. Like I said, I felt Dallas fans did him wrong. We saw the pictures where Dallas fans were heckling him when he was walking into the back. His own fan base is heckling him because Dak was playing well. That's just wrong. That's just wrong. And he deserves more credit from Dallas fans than that. So if I see a Dallas fan come along and start bagging on, well, look at McNabb and look what he did back in the day and his numbers, fuck that. All right? I'm not trying to hear it. Your own fan base bagged on Tony Romo to the point where you said you booed him pretty much damn near he's walking in the locker room. I don't want to hear it. Okay? And we'll see what happens this season with Dak, if he can make the adjustments. Because as you know, if you have a good year that year, as you know, the NFL adjusts every year. And then quarterbacks start having problems. All right? Look at Kaepernick. All right? Exactly. Now, I want to move on to some more news. All right? The media has announced that the people who stole Tom Brady's jersey or whatever, apparently the maximum sentence for stealing his jersey, because of the value of the jersey, a person can get 99 years for stealing Tom Brady's jersey. If you don't get the fuck out of here with this, it's a fucking jersey. I'm not trying to hear the value of it because he's so-called the greatest quarterback in the world or ever, and the Patriots won, and during that time, they would have sold it and got so much more, and the memorabilia and how much it would have went for. I'm not trying to hear all that shit. It's a jersey. It's a jersey. You could put God in that jersey, and guess what? I would still say it's not worth 99 years if someone stole it. 99 years for a damn jersey. I don't want to hear it. That's absolutely ridiculous. And as far as I'm concerned, that's something. Let's see, I'll put a link in the info bar for that. But it's disgusting that anybody, if they would really think of giving someone the maximum penalty for stealing a football jersey, I don't care who wore it. I don't care if it was on the biggest stage of them all. Don't care. It's a fucking jersey. It's a piece of cloth. I don't give a shit. Anyways, let's move on, shall we? I want to talk about more things that are disturbing, that are bullshit, and this is football, but overseas. Chelsea. Now look, I didn't get a chance to see the game against them versus Crystal Palace due to the fact that I had the 15K to run, all right? What's going on while I was at 15K, and then afterwards, you sit, you talk with people, you have your, your food and all that type of stuff, you got to get home and all that. So, yeah, didn't see the game. But what I did see was the highlights. What I did see was the score. I don't know whether to be upset, throw up, or just have a drink. You've got to be kidding me that now Tottenham is what? They're what? 7 points behind now, something like 7 points? Is it 7 points? And you lose to Crystal Palace. Now understand today you have to play Manchester City. Alright? You have to bounce back from this. You have to. Because as far as I'm concerned, losing to Crystal Palace, that's enough. No. Like if you'd have beat Crystal Palace but lost to Manchester City, it's like, okay, Manchester City is okay, I get that. You know what I mean? You're still trying to make that push. For those who haven't seen Manchester City, I told you, this is how they do. They win good, they start strong in the beginning, then they teeter off, and then near the end they try to make a strong comeback. 9 times out of 10, they never do make the strong comeback. But they're trying. This is everything, this is Man City in a nutshell, and it's all going according to plan. Alright? I hate to say it for Man City fans, but it's true. Alright? Chelsea needs to win this game as a confidence booster. Diego Costa has already said he's going to do everything in his power to try and beat Man City. Let me tell you something, Diego Costa. I don't have a problem with you doing everything in your power. By all means, play the game the way you need to play it, but watch your attitude. And please, watch the flopping. Okay? That's all I say. Because your attitude usually gets the best of you. It does. And then, as we know, it goes to shit after that. So as far as I'm concerned, do what you got to do, play hard, and just win. That's it. Just win. That's all I need you to do. It's too close near the end to just start losing now and then open the door for Tottenham. We don't want to do that. All right? Win this. That's all you got to do. Now, speaking of more embarrassments when it comes to football overseas, Griffin Force flop of the week. That's right. I need to know somebody. Someone please tell me. Look, we know that guy's flop. We know that, right? But how the hell do you flop against the damn ref? Against the official? That is embarrassing. Give him a red card as far as I'm concerned. But you know what? Now we have the flip side of officials. Because while that official, you gotta be kidding me that he just bumped into you. Oh my God! Look, we also have officials who still aren't doing their damn job. That's right. Not doing their job. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, NCAA. That's right. Now look, we've talked about March Madness before. And I have to say personally, I have enjoyed March Madness all the way up till about the Final Four. Which became so sloppy, so stupid. It was, oh my God, it was so bad. Horribly officiated. The players, look, I understand they're kids, but the shot selection is horrible. The transitions are horrible. I'm seeing constant air balls being chucked up. Like, it makes no sense. Guys, like I said, again, shooting a 3, 5 feet away from the arc, and they got 2 guys on them. It makes no sense. There's no rhyme or reason to what was going on. Everybody it seemed on each team in the Final Four was playing hero ball. That's what it felt like. They weren't playing teamwork. Didn't feel like that at all. All right? So, when you start calling fouls, ref, all right, you got to make sure at least they're fouls. And what I mean by this is, for those who did not see this, I want one of you who's watching this video right now to tell me how this is a foul.
All well defended by the Tar Heels. Britt gives it up to Jackson. And look at Ennis.
Wow. I'll tell you, he gave it up too early, though. Britt should have kept the dribble. They could have had an easy layup. Here he puts the big guy in jeopardy, really, in the open floor.
As you can see, that was a block. He didn't just block it. He threw that shit all the way to the other side. But clearly, that's not the foul that they're calling. All right? It's the guy below that's guarding that they're calling the foul on. So you're going to tell me, the way he stepped over to the right, okay, that slight jersey graze, because that's what it pretty much was, because the guy redirected his body, so pretty much he wasn't going to be hit. You're going to call a foul on that. That's the foul. When I saw that in real time, that made me get up and walk away from TV. Because refs are hurting the game. But it gets worse. That's right. Let's look at this travel. Down in the paint. Watch how many steps this man takes. And the rest of it, they don't call anything. They just let it play.
He's got Meeks behind him.
You can't have footsteps now.
All those steps, all that shuffling, you don't call any of that, ref. No, but you call the ball going out. It went that way. Yeah, that's what you gonna call. You're sitting right there, you're watching it, and you're... This is why it's hard to watch this type of stuff. Like I said, especially at that championship game was atrocious. I saw 5 or 7 transitions in a row where teams were just turning the ball over, shooting air balls. I was like, what the hell's going on here? I didn't understand the point guard from North Carolina. He can't play to save his damn life. He went down in the lane, guys trailing him. You got 3 steps on him. All you got to do is lay the ball up. What you do? Want a ball fake. Come back with it, try to turn. Got stripped. It made no sense. None of it made sense. All right? These players, and you got to think these guys are going to go to the NBA. These guys going to go to the NBA. And you know what? They shouldn't. They shouldn't. This last game, the championship game, was so hard to watch. And you got to think, Gonzaga, they didn't score for like, 7 minutes, was it, they said? And even the commentators had said, they were like, both teams are not putting out their best effort. They literally said that. And I was like, you're right. Because it's in there watching, it's like, this is not good. You know? But to not score for 7 minutes and only be down by 2 points, that's a problem. That's a problem. Now, like I said, I can understand their kids. They're on a big stage. I get it, all right? But it's no excuse, all right? Because I see a lot of people saying, well, you know what? It's a big arena. People are going to get nervous and all that. This is what they signed up for, man. This is what they want to do. You can't tell me every guy on that court doesn't want to be the guy. He doesn't want to be the hero. He doesn't want to go onto the NBA and make millions of dollars doing it. As we know, only 2% of athletes make it to the NBA? But you have to understand that they signed up for it. They wanted this. So no, I don't feel any type of sympathy for them when it's a big arena and they're kids and he missed a free throw. Yeah, you can't get on them. Yes, the hell I can. Not trying to hear it. People make too many excuses these days. They just do. I understand you want to be sympathetic to what they're going through. But like I said, these guys signed up for this. They wanted this. And they played X amount of games in big arenas before getting to this. So there's no excuse. I don't want to hear it. Anyways, let's move on to more stupidity, shall we? Philadelphia 76ers. First off, let me say, the game against the Brooklyn Nets was embarrassing, and both of you can eat a bag of dicks. I said this on Twitter, and I still stand by that. Both of you can eat a bag of dicks. The Sixers lost, 144 to 118? Both these teams fucking suck. And no, I don't feel any bad for them, because I put it like this. I'm seeing people who are saying, hey, they're close to 30 games. They're close to winning 30 games. That's an improvement. No, it's not. I'm not cheering on a team that's going to win 30 games in an ailing East. No, not going to happen. When they lost to the Pacers, when they lost to the Pacers not too long ago, the Pacers had lost 14 out of 21 games. And they were still hanging on to a playoff spot. No, I don't feel bad. Look, I understand Philly fans that we've had the previous 3 or so years have been so bad. They're only used to winning 10 games. You know what I mean? And it's so bad that now that we're winning some games, or 20-plus games, then now you can say this is a positive. No, it's not. You're falling into the bullshit that they tried to sell you. Tank, 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 tank. All those bad years. Then when you get a couple wins, yeah, this is good. No, it's still bad. Your team is They've got 28 wins? 28 wins so far, Sixers have. All right? 28 wins. Not even 30. 28 wins. And you're going to sit here and tell me I'm supposed to cheer that on. No. That's still not quality. I don't want to hear fucking heart. I want to hear all that other bullshit. All right? Because usually if you play hard, you can give them some credit. But they shoot themselves in the foot every fucking time. Or just not playing defense. Like the other night. You'll lose 144 points. I don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it. But speaking of fans of the Sixers, I don't know what type of fuckery these new fans are on, because we didn't see this during the Iverson era, really. We didn't see it during the Barkley era, when Mo Cheeks and all that. We didn't see it during those eras. And if you go further back, you didn't see it, those eras either. So now we got a bunch of cucks walking around, putting Ben Simmons, getting haircuts of Ben Simmons' face in their head. If this isn't the most dick-riding shit I've ever seen, you gotta be... I'm not carving another man's face into my head. It's not happening. I don't want to hear... Dude, he hasn't even played. Yeah, let's cheer on the Royer. Let's just cheer on the juicer. Yeah, let's do that. We're going to forget all about that, though, right? We're just going to forget all about the cheating shit, right? You've got to be fucking kidding me that this type of grandstanding is now allowed. Like, this isn't a fan base. It's all damn near a cult at this point. And I say that because for those who did not see, apparently at a wrestling event, that's right, Sixers fans are chanting, "Trust the process."
Yeah.
Right on the floor. Yeah. Yeah, KO. Come on, get him.
What the fuck is wrong with y'all that y'all are so brainwashed at this point to take a phrase and just run with it? Like I said, not even basketball related. Y'all at some wrestling event and y'all chanting "Trust the process." Don't nobody give a fuck about the Sixers during a wrestling event? Fuck is wrong with y'all? I don't get this. I just don't understand it. Have we become this fucking stupid as a city? I would say yeah at this point. Alright? Even as a fan base, I would say yeah at this point. Then now you're screaming "Trust the process" at any... So now that's just the thing, right? Scream "Trust the process" anywhere. Y'all could be at a tennis event. Trust the process. Y'all could be in a line at the store. Trust the process. Like, are y'all really this stupid? It's gotten to the point now where it's seriously... It was already out of hand. But it goes to show you that these fans, who aren't fans really, alright, because you never saw this type of shit before, here... and if you look in the crowds when you're watching these games, a lot of hipsters in the crowds. Alright? Never seen them before. These are not the type of guys you see playing on a basketball court. No. I don't understand with this new generation. I can't even say new generation because they're just tag-alongs. They just jump on because there's some hype now. Because they weren't around when the motherfuckers was losing. Here they come all of a sudden when they get a couple wins. We got 20-plus wins. Trust the process. It's 20-plus wins. And you're going into a half a decade now. And you still screaming "Trust the process" at a wrestling event. I'm done with this. I'm just done. I'm tapping out, man. I'm done. It's embarrassing to even walk around with Sixers stuff on. I got a Sixers hat on right now. I almost feel embarrassed to wear it now. Because the way you fucking people act. It's ridiculous. Last time I saw people act like this was when the Sixers beat the Bulls and went, the first round of the playoffs a couple years ago. All of a sudden, everybody and their mom was a Sixers fan. Like I said, everyone likes winners. But you can tell, the people who were wearing that stuff were a bunch of fucking hipsters or people in the fucking suburbs. Don't even live in the fucking city. You can tell they don't know shit about basketball, but they gonna cheer them on because now they winning. And I guarantee you, when the Sixers, when they finally do get to that point where they're a quality team, when they're a threat, when they get to that point, it may take a couple more years, but when they get to that point, watch how many people start coming along and start calling themselves a Sixers fan. It's just hard to watch, man. You weren't there during the dark days, or the dark times, or the hard times, and you bought into this tagline, which is just complete hype. And like I said, there's a silver lining for everything for some reason now. You lose, there's a silver lining for it. You win, you praise it to the fucking moon. So they can do no wrong. I'm just done. We'll talk again next time. I will talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. I'm not even in the mood to talk boxing or fighting or anything. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe, man. I'm out. I'm just done. Fuck this. I'm out.